Hello again. Um, hopefully this time it works. I had to rewind some because, like, I don't know where we were, and there was a small mishap. So, yeah.
Is that you have every single one of these traits so far, and you know that we know that you know you do, and it's hard for you to deny it when you're on a live stream like this. And I love how she's like, well, social media is my job. Is it your job to constantly look yourself up on every platform to see what people are saying about you? Is it your job to update everyone every single day with how many views your TikTok has gotten, like you did a few months ago? Is it your job to get subreddits shut down because you don't like what they say about you? Apparently she thinks so. So let's go to number 6, exploitative of others. Ooh. Narcissists are known to exploit other people for personal gain, or self-serving interests, but men and women may have opposing ways of doing so. For example, women with NPD will often use manipulative behaviors to fulfill their needs, while narcissistic men may use force, intimidation, or physical aggression. Exploitative of others, narcissists are known to...
Okay, so, like... Beautiful. Yeah, so, like, my dad is a bit of a narcissist. He fits the criteria. As if he'd ever see a professional or anything like that. As if. But yeah. Being exploitative of others, that's definitely something that my dad fits a lot as well. And in a weird way, they kind of twist it in a way that it's somehow for that person's best interest. Like, there's a lot of mental gymnastics at play, I've noticed, with a lot of people like this. Just abusive narcissists out there. So yeah. But that one fits Amber a lot, doesn't it?
Exploit others for personal gain. Oh god, that sounds like that. Sorry, that was mean. I mean, you know how many things I could have said about Alexis? I could have said about Beck.
That sounds like Beck. Shut up, Amber. God, she's so annoying. Like, and you'll notice that a lot of what she's doing is she's twisting the question or twisting her own narrative to make the answer fit what she feels it should be. She is indeed doing what I stated she would likely end up doing, and editing her answers or the question itself to basically be able to answer however she sees fit, so that she can insist to the audience that she does not fit the framework, when indeed she, quite frankly, does. Now, I don't know what her source is as far as this particular list goes. However, I do know one thing's for certain. I literally am watching her beat around the bush and then choose a completely different bush off in the periphery to deal with instead. It's like, I'm sorry, but why are we twisting the question or twisting the narrative, or both, even in some cases, to fit the answer right in front of everyone? Like, your whole ass is out right now, girl. Like, for real. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And like, did she think that nobody would notice that she's doing this, that she's warping everything to fit something so she can answer the way that she sees fit, and somehow see that it vindicates her personal theory that she does not in fact have NPD but BPD rather, even though we all know the truth. We okay, okay, I digress. I digress.
I could have said about, I'm gonna just say ... and I haven't, and I know you guys have noticed that. I definitely have reacted, especially in this live stream, I have definitely reacted out of anger, 100%, because it's just a lot at this point, but I've never exploited. It just gave me 0.5, fuck it. Yeah, Colleen, I've never said anything, but I could.
That's her lying voice.
Very bad, give me that. So according to Amber Lynn, it's okay to exploit people a little bit, but as long as you don't go all the way and you don't say everything that you could use to exploit them, this trait doesn't fit. And I guarantee you, if Jade ever decides to come out and say anything, even a little bit negative.
And I think the thing is, I think that what she tells herself is that she's not doing anything to, like anything wrong, even if she exploits people a little bit, if in the end they might benefit from it in her mind, or she might rationalize that they could benefit from it in some way or another. I feel like that is very much like on brand with how she thinks, because like I said, she reminds me so much of my father, so it's like really funny, like not like haha funny, but you know, watching her use the very same manipulative tactics I grew up watching my entire life from a dysfunctional, disordered person. And by the way, my dad has an eating disorder too. So like, and he also is in denial about the scale and the relationship he has with it. So it's just really funny to me that she thinks that she can just hide in plain sight like that. And like girl, who do you think you're fooling? I don't know. Like it's she thinks that we're all idiots or something.
Amber Lynn, she's immediately going to exploit Jade and spill all of her dirty secrets as well. And let's not forget about the fact that how many times did we see Crystal on camera when she didn't want to be? We saw Destiny on camera when she didn't want to be, including showing parts of Destiny's body that Destiny didn't know was being shown and didn't want to be shown. Becca's come out and said that they were put on camera when they didn't want to be. And all of those videos, Amber Lynn to this day makes money off of, and used those clips of them, in my opinion, to deflect criticism off of herself. Oh, you want to look at my body? You want to talk about my body? Well, look, here's Destiny's backside. Here's Destiny in the shower. Here's Destiny on the toilet. Here's Beck when they're on medication that they have said made them completely out of it. But according to Amber Lynn, that's not exploiting them for personal gain or self-serving interests, because she could have done so much worse. So let's go on to number 7, being overly vain.
That's another thing that I've noticed is typical of an abusive narcissist, is that they're literally like, oh, well, it's not as bad as this other thing, that it's not as bad as what I could have done. And they use that to kind of vindicate themselves. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, it's like, be so for real. It's like, okay, so like when I was a kid, sorry to keep like bringing up my dad, but like there are parallels here that I would like to draw and point to so we can talk about this and like have a more nuanced understanding of the very same phenomenon. So it's like, my dad had a tendency when he was mad, he would hit us. And anytime I would be like, hey, what about, you know, those times that you would be so mad and you would hit us and you knew we didn't do anything to deserve it or warrant it and you still did. And he'd be like, well, stop questioning my parenting techniques. It's disrespectful. And there are parents out there who literally sell their children to creeps and pervs so that they can get money to do drugs. So like, be grateful because I'm such a great parent. And you know, it's interesting to see the same kind of like weird backwards means of arguing to justify or to minimize the severity of other actions. um it's like, well, it's not this absolutely horrible thing, so yeah, I would not be surprised if we see more apologies like this, or like explanations, excuses, or whatever from Amberlynn, where she's like, well, it could have I may have yeah, sure, I might have manipulated Beck and kept them away from their dying mother, but I didn't kill their mother. So like, if we see something like that, um girl, um not only is that really on brand, but no, but yeah, no, I've noticed that a lot of them will like do that, like to like explain themselves, or they think it shows them to be innocent. Well, I could have done this horrible, absolutely terrible thing, but I didn't, so I'm innocent. Yeah, maybe for that horrible thing, allegedly, but what about what we literally just said over here? No, we're gonna ignore that. Okay.
While both men and women with NPD are prone to vanity, research shows that women with NPD are more likely to be preoccupied with physical appearance. Also, women with NPD may be more sensitive to criticisms about their physical appearance, weight, or attractiveness than men with the disorder. Narcissism in women may lead to excessive cosmetic procedures, extreme dieting, or unhealthy obsession with appearance or weight.
Being overly vain. While both men and women with NPD are prone to vanity, research shows that women with NPD are more likely to be preoccupied with physical appearance. We all know that ain't me because I'm fat as hell.
And once again, we see a deflection. Something which I would also frequently see with my father. It's like there will be deflection with one singular example, and therefore the entirety of everything else that might say or might have been said or accused is then able to be written off. So being overly vain, and then she's like, well, look how fat I am. I obviously don't focus that much about my appearance or anything like that. And it's like, girl, it doesn't mean that, like, being vain doesn't mean that you're always looking good. What the hell? That's not the logic here. God. My dad looked like a fucking mess 24/7, but he was so fixated all the time on what others thought of him. Just like she is perpetually fixated on what other people say or think about her. That is the obsession, the vanity, if you will. God, she's so stupid. And it's intentional. That's intentional. Because then she can plead ignorance later on if someone tries to call her on it.
I just wear makeup and try to do my hair cute and all that, because it's like it's I'm very, like, I think other fat women are gorgeous, literally gorgeous, right? But for me, like I am my own worst enemy. And it's like when I'm putting on makeup and like doing my hair, it's very much putting glitter on poop. So that's the only reason why I do it. So
Once again, saying something self-deprecating to be like, look, see, I'm self-deprecating. Glitter on poop. Um, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make you any less vain just because you're able to make a self-deprecating joke. That doesn't mean you're not fixated with how you're perceived. As a matter of fact, that's why you added and threw those in to make it seem the opposite. And you didn't actually do anything of the sort because that in and of itself was a vain act. If you genuinely did not care how you were perceived or how people looked at you, you would not have actually sat there and pointed out two things about yourself that don't look, in fact, ideal. So, she's stupid. Oh my God. Yeah, she's so very vain that she actually decided to come on camera and act like she doesn't like how she looks by comparing herself to poop with glitter on it and saying, well, I'm fat, so obviously I'm not vain. And it's like, first of all, you don't even know what vain means, obviously. But being vain doesn't mean you look good. So those two things literally did not prove your innocence like you thought. And all of these things that you would have absolutely gotten points on that you were like, well, sometimes. The thing is, your vanity is why you're doing this performance to begin with. You care about how people perceive you. The fact is that you took the bait, and that's exactly how you're outing yourself as a fucking narcissist. This entire thing meant to disprove that she's a narcissist. In fact, does the opposite and proves exactly that. Congratulations, you've taken the bait. You're a fucking idiot. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You care too much what people think, and you end up looking like an idiot for the entire internet to see. And if that's not beautiful, karma in action, if you will, then I don't know what is.
I'm obviously not vain, so skipping that one.
So what Amber is failing
I'm
to see,
obviously
I don't know
not
if it's by
vain.
choice or not, but the description doesn't say being preoccupied and overly obsessed with trying to look good. It just says being preoccupied with how you look, good or bad. I mean, every single time she starts a vlog, it's talking about how she looks, even though she looks the same every time. You know, the way that she pranes into the camera, the way that she stares at herself when she's eating food, all the selfies, the way that she goes on the extreme diets. You know, she'll take a regular diet and make it extreme. Oh, this diet says I can have 2,000 calories. Actually, I'm only going to have 1,200. Weight Watcher says that I get 70 points. I think I'm only going to eat 30. That is what this trait is talking about and referring to, is that you're constantly thinking about and worrying about what you look like. Number 8 is using sex appeal to coerce, or as Amber likes to say, coerce. Women with NPD may be more likely to capitalize on their sex appeal or physical attractiveness. Recent studies have found that many female narcissists dress in sexually provocative ways, like dressing in revealing clothing or wearing a lot of makeup. Some may use sexual seduction as a way to manipulate or financially exploit others, or engage in sexual narcissism. They may even become involved in parasitic, hang on, let me start this sentence over. They may even become involved in parasitic sexual relationships with people who can support or help them in some way.
Using sex appeal to coerce, women with NPD may be more likely to capitalize on their sex appeal or physical attractiveness. Recent studies have found that many female narcissists dress in sexual provocative ways. I'm just so sexual and provocative. No, I do love to flirt, but that doesn't mean to be a narcissist.
Furthermore, we also see how she makes a joke of it to minimize this gravity of the situation and to minimize, truthfully, what is glaringly obvious to all of us. She's trying to be like, here's the sparkly thing. Don't look at that. She's trying to distract you or mislead you. And I feel like she's about to make the fat joke again. Or some sort of thing alluding to her weight. To basically dispute it. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, dispute it.
And of course, that trait goes right over her head. She doesn't even stop to consider that there are people out there who find her sexually attractive. Her exes, for example. And what that trait description is saying is that when you find people like that, you use their sexual attraction to you to get things out of them. Whether it be gifts, Emily. Whether it be caretaking, Beck. Whether it be validation, Jade. Whether it be a place to live, Casey, Crystal, Destiny. Like, she's completely ignoring what the trait is actually saying. She read dressing in revealing clothing and physical attractiveness and was like, oh, guess it's not me, let's move on. So number 9 is seeming insecure, shy, or reserved. Women with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, are more likely to show traits of covert narcissism, which can look different from the typical image of narcissism. A covert narcissist might not seem arrogant or entitled. Instead, they may come across as shy, quiet, or even insecure. When someone's low self-esteem or insecurity shows up alongside other narcissistic traits, it's often a sign of covert narcissism.
Seeming insecure, shy, or reserved. Really? Women with narcissistic personality disorder are more likely to show traits of covert narcissism, which can look different from the typical image of narcissism. What? A covert narcissist might not seem... I thought there was only one type of narcissist. This is so crazy. Everyone's a narcissist at this point.
Once again, making a joke to minimize. And then throwing out the generalized statement of everyone's a narcissist. To again take the attention off herself and off of the glaringly obvious perfect fit that it is for Ms. Amberlynn Reed. But you'll notice that she does this with a lot of definitions where she'll kind of change things and then answer a question based on her new definition of something. And so I'm assuming that she does the same thing with these other questions. She changes what they mean, and since she's changing what they mean, she can now answer in another very concealed sort of manner.
I don't even know how to answer this one. Sometimes I'm shy, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm... Is this even real? What site is this? Can someone tell me?
So notice she skips right past the whole low self-esteem or insecurity part and focuses on the shy part, which I don't know what she's talking about. Sometimes I'm shy. We've never seen you shy, Amber. The only time we kind of saw it was when you were living with Crystal, and you said that you were just...
Like I said, picking part of the question to answer and being like, well, sometimes I'm this, sometimes I'm not. To make there seem to be any kind of accuracy with any of her questions. She's genuinely like, God. Now I'm using genuinely too much. She is just... Yeah, she's just taking little tiny bits and pieces of things that are true and changing them. Okay, so here's what this question is asking. Here's the part of it I understand, so that's the part I'm going to answer. I am sometimes a little shy. I am sometimes, but I'm also sometimes not. Okay, and... Ooh, and I like to flirt. Like, come on. Be so for real. That's not what the question is asking.
acting that way because her dad was on the other side of the door. That wasn't really you. But the insecurity and the low self-esteem part, that's 100% you. But you didn't want to address that. Number 10, sensitive and reactive. Female narcissists are often more emotional than male narcissists, which makes them especially sensitive and reactive. Like all narcissists, they tend to be highly sensitive to criticism, experiencing what's known as narcissistic injury, a strong emotional reaction to perceived criticism or rejection. This sensitivity can make them more prone to feeling hurt, offended, or upset by others, leading them to lash out, become moody, or shut down when they feel wounded.
Okay, sensitive and reactive. See, very BPD coded, this one. Female narcissists are often more emotional than male narcissists. This is very BPD coded because BPD is all about not being able to regulate your emotions and having meltdowns.
And once again, we are deflecting and citing another disorder, one that we deemed more fashionable for ourselves, haven't we, Amberlynn? And so now we're going to hide behind it when every time there's a trait, a cluster B trait, in fact, that overlaps between these two disorders, I'm going to point to those and be like, hey, this is why you guys think that I have NPD, is because it overlaps with my BPD symptoms. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can see that. I see that there are overlapping traits. However, it's a perfect fit. NPD, it's a perfect fit. I'm not a professional. I can't diagnose anybody. I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody. But, God, if I've ever seen a perfect fit, I'd say Amber is it. But yeah, back to her deflecting and saying it's the BPD, which then she also, you know, vindicates her in her mind to double down. Look, see, there's the evidence. This is somehow also going to be the evidence cited for her BPD diagnosis, allegedly.
Which is neat. Like all narcissists, they tend to be highly sensitive to criticism, experiencing what's known as narcissistic injury. That is why people say that. So it's a strong emotional reaction to perceived criticism or rejection. But that is my BPD because of fear of abandonment. People with BPD cannot, like, any sort of rejection, they're like, and they have a full-fledged meltdown, so. This sensitivity can make you more prone to feeling hurt, offended, and upset by others. Give me a 0.5, why not?
So she just admitted that this trait describes her. Now, she blames it on her BPD, but she doesn't deny that it's still a trait that she has, but she still only gives herself a half a point. I mean, out of all of these traits, this might be the one that best describes her, and she's only gonna give herself a half a point for it. Number 11, dependency or neediness. Female narcissists, especially covert narcissists, may display needy or dependent patterns in their relationships with others. The female narcissist typically needs a lot of validation, praise, and reassurance from her friends, family, and lovers, which betrays her underlying insecurities. Without this validation, she may become jealous, upset, moody, brooding, or experiencing narcissistic rage. Now, just like the last one, I feel like this trait completely describes Amberlynn, but let's see if she will own up to it, or if she'll just ignore it, blame it on her BPD, or only give herself half a point.
Oh, yeah. We already all know this one applies. She'll deny it, though, or make an excuse or deflect.
Dependency or neediness. Female narcissists may display needy or dependent patterns in their relationship with others. I mean, yeah, I have that for sure.
And that's all she said about that one. Just, yeah, I have that for sure. I guess we're moving on to number 12. It is playing the victim card. Playing the victim by being submissive or seemingly helpless may be a tactic that female narcissists use to get things they want or lure people in. Once they do, they will often use the martyr or victim card to exploit people or convince them to do things for them. This tendency is one of the more common traits of a narcissistic woman, which may be due to societal expectations and gender roles.
Playing the victim card, playing the victim by being submissive or seemingly helpless may be a tactic that female narcissists use to get things that they want to lure people in. Dang, what? I feel like I do the whole, like, buy people love, and, like,
So she clearly just heard the part about luring people in, and
I know I buy people's love. Once again, she's playing picky and choosy. What things she's going to understand out of it and what things she's going to attach to it for meaning. Picky and choosy with the dictionary. These words totally mean this, but I decided that they mean this instead, and then I'm going to answer based on that.
Skip the whole being acting helpless or submissive.
I don't try to seem. I think I'm thinking too hard about this.
You're not thinking hard enough.
You're the victim hard by being submissive or seemingly helpless. I don't think I do that. Definitely not.
Definitely.
If I actually had the ability to have any hope for Girl World, I would be immensely disappointed right now. But the thing is, I never had hope to begin with, so I guess I can never be let down. Silver lining, I suppose. God. Definitely don't have that.
Not. Are you sure you want to go with that answer, Amber? I mean, we can make a whole list of all the times that Amber painted herself out to be a victim when she really wasn't. Also, how many times has she tried to make it seem like she's just so helpless? She needs people to drive her everywhere. She needs people to help her take care of her pets, like with Beck. She needs someone to wipe her. She needs someone to go and get her things, to cook for her, someone to give her a place to live. And then once she convinces people that she needs all these things and help from them, they feel obligated to stay with her. And Beck said that. They said they didn't want to leave her because who's going to take care of the pets? Who's going to help her take care of herself? So again, another trait that completely describes Amber that she just brushes off and says, definitely not. Number 13, passive-aggressive and manipulative. Research on the sex differences in NPD has consistently found that female narcissists are less physically aggressive than male narcissists and more likely to use passive aggression and manipulation to coerce other people. For instance, a female narcissist might manipulate others by playing the victim, going behind someone's back, or using tactics like guilt tripping or giving the silent treatment.
Passive and aggressive and a manipulative.
We've also known Amberlynn to be physically violent and therefore use physical aggression for control as well. Very fascinating that as a trait that my father also had, if you guys had not picked up on that. So, once again, drawing parallels between Amberlynn and my father, we can see a lot of the same behaviors and traits, using aggressive and manipulative means to maintain it and gain some degree of control. And even sometimes being physically aggressive, which apparently is more common of the males. I will agree. But if they're physically able, don't ever overlook the idea of a woman being physically aggressive, because obviously Amber's evidence that there can be physical aggression.
I am not passive aggressive. I don't even need to read this one. I'm not passive aggressive, but I have been manipulative.
I don't even need to read this one.
Sure. Oh God, I don't do this. For instance, a female narcissist might manipulate by guilt tripping or giving the silent treatment. No.
Do you hear her liar voice? No. Shut up. God. I definitely don't have this one.
So there was an ex that would give me the silent treatment. I wanted to die.
Shut up.
Someone with BPD, the silent treatment is so triggering. Like,
shut up.
It's moments like these where I can't decide if Amberlynn is cunning enough to recognize what she's doing or she's just that dumb. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but how she can read that a narcissistic trait is giving someone the silent treatment and say, oh God, I hate when people give me the silent treatment, so that's definitely not me. It's about you giving the silent treatment, Amber, and you have done that. You've actually even done that to your audience. How many times has she tried to punish us by taking breaks? She won't upload, and then when she comes back, she'll say, oh my God, so many people were begging me to come back. She'll even threaten it when she's really upset by what the audience is saying. She'll threaten it. Maybe I just won't come back.
I would like to further add to this. by mentioning once again how she cites another condition for solid proof as to why she doesn't do this thing. She's trying too hard to have something else and to pass a test she's not even taking, that she's not even considering the correct answers or incorrect answers for this particular test. She's such a dummy. Like, when a dumb person is a narcissist, it's very funny how they kind of cook themselves in front of everyone.
Maybe I'll just quit YouTube. I mean, that certainly is passive aggressive. And that's just what she does to the audience. Imagine what she does to partners and to friends and family. But according to her, she doesn't even need to read it because she just knows immediately she is not passive aggressive. And according to this same website, passive aggressive behavior can include not only giving the silent treatment, but also giving backhanded compliments, using sarcasm or snarky comments, subtly or politely talking about topics knowing that it makes others uncomfortable, pretending you don't know how to do something to avoid doing it. Now, how many of those have we seen Amberlynn do? But I'm sure if we pointed it out to her, she would never acknowledge it. She would say, no, I wasn't being sarcastic or snarky. That's really how I felt. Or that wasn't a backhanded compliment. I really meant it. And straight up gaslighting us. Number 14. And Amber, this one might sting a little. Bullying or being a mean girl. Just because narcissistic women aren't as physically aggressive doesn't necessarily mean they're any nicer or less dangerous. Female narcissists may use different types of aggression, like gossiping, spreading rumors, gaslighting, name-calling, or giving people the cold shoulder. These are all forms of narcissistic abuse that can be just as harmful as the more
Damn. Ain't looking good for Ms. Amber now, is it?
overt forms of aggression typical in male narcissists.
Bullying or being a mean girl? No. I mean, no. Obviously not. Like,
Yeah,
What do you
I had a
mean,
feeling that one
obviously
was gonna hurt
not?
a bit. She knew. In my opinion, she knew instantly. That one completely describes her. She can't admit that she's a mean girl. She can't acknowledge that and that she knows that she's one. She didn't even read through the examples. She obviously nodded it and moved on. But we know all of the examples of her doing the things that are listed in that trait. Gossiping, of course. She's constantly gossiping. She even has done it in this live stream and the last one, particularly trying to spread a rumor about Mr. Snowflake, one that she admitted she never saw firsthand. Someone just told her about it or sent her some screenshots that who knows where they got them from. Name calling, of course. Of course she's done that. She called Mr. Snowflake creepy. She's called Beck and other exes liars. She's called reaction channels losers, said one of them was living in their mom's basement. I mean, that list could go on and on. Giving people the cold shoulder. How many times has she iced people out of her life? Just completely stopped talking to them. So yeah, that one could have just been called number 14, Amberlynn Reed, because that one definitely describes her. Finally, number 15, instability in work, life, or relationships. Female narcissists with more severe narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, often have trouble keeping their personal and professional lives stable. They may struggle to hold a steady job, manage their finances, or build lasting, healthy relationships and romantic relationships. In general, the more unstable their work, relationships, and life are, the more severe their narcissistic traits tend to be. Let's see her try and talk her way out of this one.
all right, is this the last one? Okay. This was weird because anytime I looked up symptoms, like it was more just like black and white. This one was like diving into it, kind of crazy. Instability in work, life, or relationships. So female narcissists with more severe. See, but that's BPD. That's also like, because you guys saw my new video. That's also due to BPD. So female narcissists with more severe narcissistic personality disorder often have trouble keeping their personal and professional life stable. They may struggle to hold a job. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's very BPD coded.
Again, it's her BPD's fault. She's not a narcissist, even though this trait is another one that describes her completely. It's just blah, 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 da, da, da. It's my BPD, let's move on. When literally everything mentioned in that one could be ascribed to her. Struggle to hold a steady job.
As far as the struggling to hold a steady job one goes, that is also another one that, God, it's so fucking weird. Yeah, she clearly cannot hold a steady job. And anyone who thinks otherwise is delusional. Sorry, Amber. Jesus. And once again, she's just citing, oh, I only fit that criteria because of BPD, as a way to dismiss. Oh my gosh, she's infuriating. I'm exhausted, see? Push me over the limit. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was part 2 of the Salty Crab, Amber Lynn denies being a narcissist video. And yeah, so what do you guys think of like my setup for the reactions? I hope that it's okay. This is kind of the best I can do right now because time and money and all of that. I'm a college student, so I don't really have that exactly in my favor. So yeah, I'm trying my best with what I've got on hand. But yeah, I personally think that she is a narcissist. Sorry. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe if you would like. If you've made it all the way to the end, first of all, I am impressed because, oh my god. I wonder how many times I said shut up to the TV screen. So if you've made it this far, drop a, like, turtle emoji in the comments. I'm still troubleshooting and everything with the filming setup and how I'm doing that and working on that. So if I could like have a little bit of patience on that matter, constructive feedback, of course, is always welcome. So yeah, and I will see you guys in the next one. And remember, tortoises are to turtles what toads are to frogs. I will remember my own fucking phrase in a minute, apparently. Sorry I'm a little bit out of it. It's just been one of those days. Anyway, bye.